Hey everyone, how is it going? This is Kevin here from Sensitive Acceptance, where we're all about changing the way that society views emotion and just viewing emotion in a more positive light. So, what do we cover on this channel, first of all? Well, we cover highly sensitive people or high sensitivity, HSPs. We cover personality psychology, so a lot of Jungian typology, Myers-Briggs type stuff. And we also cover mental health. And we talk about masculinity as well as it exists in modern age, in the 21st century. So if those topics interest you, any of those topics, definitely hit the subscribe button and click the bell to be notified when I release future videos. So on to today's video. So I'm currently reading a book by Dr. Tracy Cooper called "Empowering the Sensitive Male Soul." So it's a book targeted at highly sensitive men or HSP men. And HSPs, of course, are people who represent about 15 to 20% of the population. And these are people who have this temperamental trait that they were born with or they inherited, and they essentially have a more finely tuned nervous system. So they're more easily overwhelmed by stimuli in the environment. They process things more deeply. They're more empathetic, like they're more emotionally responsive to what's happening in their environment. So anyway, so this book is about that, but related to highly sensitive men, and about what masculinity is like in today's day and age, and how can we empower highly sensitive men to move forward in society and really utilize their gifts and not feel like they're constantly in a stage of trying to fit into a specific box of what masculinity is supposed to be, or like traditional masculinity, whatever society or culture defines as masculinity. But instead, what they're doing is they're being self-aware, they're acknowledging what their gifts are, and they're actualizing those gifts. They're going out into the world with confidence, believing in themselves, and being able to not ignore who they are. And they're really able to present and bring themselves into the limelight and show society who they are. So what I want to do in this video is just explain something, a concept that I thought about related to this whole modern masculinity movement. And I was thinking about feminism and how, feminism has been something that has been a hot topic recently, at least the current iteration of feminism. And it tends to go hand in hand with the whole Me Too movement and that's where the term toxic masculinity started to come into play. And we started to really question, I guess, the current iteration of masculinity and whether it was something that we wanted in society, whether it's something that needed to be gotten rid of completely, whether there's only certain parts that need to be fixed. And there, from the male community, the male perspective, it seems that at least because of what we've known throughout the years to be these noble masculine traits, like chivalry and things of that sort, I think that there was a bit of a backlash where a lot of men were not happy about what feminism was doing and felt that it was maybe an attack on masculinity and that kind of iteration of masculinity. And so I kind of want to talk today about why I think that, male sensitivity and, the highly sensitive person movement, at least in the male community, can actually work very well with current times and really work in sync with feminism and what feminism is all about. So if you really think about what feminism is all about, a lot of these people who are about traditionalism and traditional masculinity and, gender roles and these types of more traditional ideas, they tend to state that, men are supposed to fit into this role and women are supposed to fit into this role, right? And, typically the traits they associate with women fitting in that role are traits like, women are only there to be like caring and to be, serving in terms of taking care of the house and the kids and all that. they're less assertive, they're more about compassion and empathy and all these traits, and a lot of them are good traits. But the whole idea was we want to be able to, there may be women who want to express other traits. They want to express the traits that men typically possess in the traditional sense. So it's really about giving the individual freedom to be able to, whatever traits they do want to express or they do possess, being able to bring those traits out into the world. If a woman is in a workplace and she wants to, she is a more assertive person, she should be able to express that and be respected for that, right? Because that is a trait that she possesses. So there's this whole, this is all happening within the sphere of feminism, right? And now I think that the next thing in line that actually works well with feminism is the rise of the highly sensitive man, or the rise of, or just broadening what masculinity really means, and creating a space where men who actually possess some of these more traditionally feminine traits that typically get associated with the highly sensitive person or the highly sensitive man are actually able to bring those traits and express those freely. So you have a state where both women and men are able to be themselves. And that's what really matters here, right? So, highly sensitive people traits, right? Typically tend to be, empathy is a big one. Really being caring and attending to people's feelings, expressing your feelings, expressing your emotions. That's traditionally been associated as something that men have a hard time doing, right? And unfortunately, that can actually lead to a lot of health issues down the line. It can lead to, chronic stress. And we've heard all time and time again about male suicide rates and that whole issue. And, there may be a correlation, there may not be. But, those things do stand. And so these are important things to consider. And, these highly sensitive people traits, like compassion, like empathy, like being very caring and attending to people's feelings, these are things that not only do we need more of this in society, because, sometimes we can run awry in today's state of individualism in society where everyone's kind of fending for themselves a lot. We've kind of gone away from a sense of community more to an individualistic society. But, I think that, fellow man is in need, or fellow woman is in need of, people who can show and be compassionate and really help other people a lot more, form that sense of community once again. And on top of that, of course, there are a lot of issues in this world that are very prevalent, are very real world issues here in the 21st century that we've been trying to get a grasp on, like, let's say, climate change, like world hunger, like racism, things like that actually require people who have empathy, who have compassion, who have that conscientiousness and need to do things well, and that attention to detail that highly sensitive people possess. So we actually need more of these traits. And so what I'm trying to drive home here is that it's important that we allow people, in this context, highly sensitive men who do possess these traits, to be themselves and feel comfortable coming forth as their true self, so that they're able to make an impact on the world that is much needed, right? Also, if you're a highly sensitive man watching this video, please leave in comments down below and let me know, what's been your biggest challenge growing up as a highly sensitive man, and if you're a highly sensitive woman, think about the men in your life, whether it's your partner or maybe your brother, and let me know down below what's the biggest challenge that they've faced or that you've observed that they've faced in their life. I would be very curious to know, and I'll reply to your comments. To add to this point, I think that, of course, it's about men being able to more openly stress or express those highly sensitive traits that typically were traditionally associated with femininity. But at the same time, feminism is about helping women go from not just feeling comfortable expressing feminine traits, but also being able to express more traditionally masculine traits, which tend to and unfortunately, it is the only um, are the only traits that I feel are valued in today's corporate type of environment. And fortunately, actually, things are changing in that the corporate environment in a lot of places is starting to value various personalities, and how various personalities can actually make a business do much better and actually help a company make more money and actually increase efficiency and productivity by actually bringing together different kinds of personalities on a team. So, I think we just need a place where no matter what your traits are, and that's why I'm big on personality psychology and MBTI, because I think that having a framework where you can really understand the traits that you have and the gifts that you can bring to the table, that's kind of the starting point of realizing, what kind of gift do I have to offer to society. And then obviously the next step of that is, we obviously want to create a society where, you feel comfortable and safe going forward to express your gifts, right? And so I think I've pretty much summed everything up that I wanted to touch on in this video. I did just want to make the point that, yeah, like I think that the movement of, well, it may not be a current movement. The highly sensitive man is not something that is talked about a lot. High sensitivity in general is something that is relatively new. It started being researched in the 1990s by Dr. Lane Aron, and that is starting to gain some momentum in the mental health community at this point. And so, but the next step is actually helping highly sensitive men come forward and who also struggle, like all highly sensitive people, with some of the more incompatibilities that HSPs have with society, like, being in very loud environments, right? But highly sensitive men also have to deal with that stigma of not feeling like they fit into society's definition of what it means to be a man. Yeah, so what I was saying is I actually think that high sensitivity and actually accepting this in men is actually a movement that's on the horizon, and I actually think it will be a movement and it will be something that's talked about more. But as of now, we're still seeing highly sensitive men completely outnumbered by highly sensitive women in HSP forums, in HSP Facebook groups. And I don't say there's anything wrong with that because, of there being more women versus more men. That's not my point. My point is that, we want to be seeing more men come forward and actually embracing their sensitivity and accepting and owning it, and being actually knowledgeable that they may have it, because you could spend a large part of your life struggling to fit in, wondering what the hell is wrong with you, when in actuality, you're just a bit different and you are more sensitive to stimuli in the environment. You become more overstimulated more easily. But the actuality is, or the truth is, that about 50% of women are HSPs, and that's incorrect, sorry. About 50% of HSPs are women, and about 50% of HSPs are men. So we need to be working towards a place where we're increasing the acceptance of sensitive traits in today's society. And I hope that this channel can help kind of push that movement into the forefront. And I really think that feminism can work in tandem with highly sensitive men as we work to create a space where healthy masculinity is expressed in today's society, and both genders can benefit from having healthy masculinity expressed, and both genders can actually work as a team, and we can get to a place where we're not clashing like we may have been the last few years. So that pretty much sums things up, guys. That was just a bit of an insightful discussion, so to speak, about the state of modern masculinity and where I see the whole highly sensitive person movement going, at least as it relates to men, and also how it can work in tandem with feminism. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. I would really appreciate it. And of course, I'd mentioned at the beginning of the video, if you guys enjoy or want to hear more discussion about highly sensitive people, especially as it relates to highly sensitive men, personality psychology, so union typology, the MBTI, stuff like that, and mental health as well, then definitely hit the subscribe button. and hit the bell to be notified when I release a new video. But until next time, guys, I hope you have a good one, and take care.